It was approximately about 1.5 months before my due date of my first born child. And I was sitting at my desk. It was August. I was due October the 4th or 11th. And it was about mid August. And my husband was sitting at his desk, and I was sitting at mine. And we were at that time living in Ohio in our condo. And all of a sudden, it just hit me. It's like, okay, what are you going to teach this child? And before anxiety could really take hold of me, my mother's principles came to the rescue. That this woman, this brown skinned woman who experienced a lot, right, as a child, as a woman experiencing domestic violence, she shared her life lessons that I actually turned into life principles. She shared those. And around 10 years old is when I think I really started listening to my mother. It was after I, the exposure of The Dark Secret came out, and I was at a crossroads and trying to figure out, what am I going to do with my life now? And so my mother would often share life principles, nip things in the bud, give from the heart, expect nothing in return, listen, you'll learn a lot more if you listen, create the family you want. I mean, just over the years, just really building my moral foundation with these lessons that I learned, because I wanted to live life better. I wanted to live life differently. I didn't want to end up projecting my pain on others. And I've shared this over and over, on different social medias, especially in my blog, how my pain became just something to teach me. I was teachable. My ground, my soul was fertile. And so here I am pregnant, and like, okay, what am I going to teach? And so I list all these things that my mom taught me, and I even put them in a book. And over the years, I have been sharing these life principles with my children. But I tell you what, my children have been sharing a lot of truths with me. As a parent, we often think, okay, I'm the teacher, do as I say, I know what's right. I've been through this before, follow me. And yet we forget that children, I believe, are so in tune to this infinite wisdom that created us human beings and beyond, the earth and beyond, that they help remind us of who we are, this connection that we have with our creator. When I look at my daughter and I hear her talk, innocence, talking about stuff, and, saying that I don't understand. Can you explain that better to me? And even on that, often we look down on ourselves as adults when we don't understand something. People often judge us. You don't know that. They call you names, stupid, and just sometimes so demeaning words. And we forget that there is a time and a place for everything. There is a time for evolving of consciousness, awareness. Everybody learns a different way. Um, we need to hear things sometimes more than once. And when I think about the authenticity, when I think about her innocence, and I think about she's not judging herself. She's not saying she's stupid. She's not calling herself names. She's in no way dehumanizing herself. She is being truthful. I see the curiosity, the joy of both my children, and thinking about, they just dance and they move, and they don't think about what others are going to say about them, and they've been in online school, they've been in brick and mortar school, they're currently there now. But, giving them that safe place to be themselves. And if you extend this safe place to earth, to your household, to your community, to your mindset, that you have the right to be you. You have the right to dance. You have the right to sing. You have the right to ask questions. You have the right to be curious. You have a right to speak your voice. You have a right to think for yourselves. And that's what I encourage my children to do. I'll ask questions and I'll ask them, well, what do you think needs to be done? And I've been doing it even more with my clients that I've been coaching to pass their NCLEX exam. I'm asking them more, because so often we can look down, and hear me, look down on children and believe, oh, you're stupid. You really don't know much. You got to listen to me. And we need to give them an opportunity to voice their concerns, their opinions, and what they believe is truthful. My children have both shared with me that they were doing something and they received a message. My daughter shared, and I think I may have shared this before, she had a dream. And in her dream, she was told that, in the dream, she had a dream that she was going to be drinking spoiled milk. And she woke up that morning, she said, Mom, she was going to the refrigerator and she was getting some milk. And she said, Mom, you know what? I had a dream that I was going to drink spoiled milk. I said, something was talking to you. This infinite spirit, and we call it God in our household, was speaking, spoke to you through your dream. And I said, well, maybe you want to taste the milk first and see if it's good. And so she tasted, and I think she didn't really get a big taste of it. And she ended up sipping on the milk and spitting it out because she realized it was bad. And that in itself, hearing her say that, because I've had those moments where thoughts have come to me to help protect me, to help prepare me for what is about to happen, and to help guide me. And even just her sharing that, being open to that, listening to her, having that moment of conversation, reinforce the truths that I know, the truths that are within me. And remember, whatever we reinforce within ourselves, we teach to our children. There are so many children that are holding on to secrets, dark secrets. I was one of them, because we feel like our voice doesn't matter. Somehow, somewhere, somebody may have shot down. Many have said that, they grew up with the saying that children should be seen and not heard. And we can become blinded to them speaking their truth if we believe that. If our children have a history of lying to us or not saying the truth, it doesn't mean that we don't believe them forever. Because the time that they speak, they really speak the truth, is the time when it is the truth. And we must continue to cultivate a family, a space where the truth is accepted and not demeaned and not turned away. That love, the definition of love, when we think about First Corinthians chapter 13, and I when you look at the definition of love that the Bible gives, and remember, it's not about what you believe, but it's about what resonates with you. Are you for good or are you for evil? So when we take knowledge, wisdom, when we take readings, we ask ourselves, does this make sense? Does this resonate within me? Does it really matter the source, or are we out for the truth? And it says that love remembers remembers no wrongs. And I've have my children not told me the truth. Yes, they had. There are times when they didn't, but I always, and it hits me in the heart, I always try to believe them, because you never know when they may be speaking the truth, and that may be the last time you hear their voice speak the truth. Love remembers no wrongs. And so my children have taught me so much to laugh. My mother was continues to laugh at herself, and she raised us to laugh and to not take ourselves so seriously. And children can remind you of that, because you can go through so much. We go through so much as an adult. We disappointments, frustrations, expectations. Disappointments are expectations that we had, and we didn't get what we want, or whatever we wanted someone to say, they didn't say. But we go through so many life experiences that we can give away our curiosity. We can give away our joy. We can just give away that playfulness that we have, all of which makes us the unique individual that we are. Even when we're going after our dreams and our goals, and there are times when we want to give up, our children are there to remind us that when they fall, they rise up again. Our children are there to remind us to take time off, sit down, watch a movie, play a game. And they are not just here, again, to hear us speak and tell them how to live their lives, but to actually do the opposite and encouraging us to live our lives, to not be guided by our experiences, but be guided with the truth that resides within us. The teacher is always the student first, always thinking of, in a conversation, what is it that I can learn from you? What is it that I have let go, or that I no longer have? Or what is it that I have taught you that I have forgotten myself, that I'm not following myself? The teacher is always the student first. The teacher listens with not just ears, but with an open heart, the door to infinite wisdom. The teacher accepts. The teacher has compassion instead of judging. The teacher is always willing to learn and never sees him or herself as someone who is over someone, that has to take dominion or control others, but sees him or herself as equals, as all children here on a journey, earthly journey. My children have reminded me of so much, and have reinforced the truths that are within my mind, the truths of loving and accepting others, of not seeing color, of not using anger, of understanding when someone is jealous, of seeing beyond the actions of someone and aiming to see at their heart. We have so much to learn from our children. What can you learn from your child? What has your child been telling you that you haven't been listening to? What have you relinquished? What have you let go that was a major part of your identity, your curiosity, your compassion, your playfulness? See, I believe that we don't altogether lose what we have, that it's somewhere out there, it's somewhere, it's in us. But often we give our power away and feel that we are powerless. And we feel that we're powerless, we end to take we often take it out on our children instead of being open to them and help and allowing them to help us find our way back to our true selves. Whatever you teach, whatever you embody, whatever you nourish within yourselves, remember that's what you teach your child. All of the stuff that we see out in the world often starts in childhood. All the things that we are crying about, frustrated about, upset about, often starts in childhood. But as long as you have breath, there are things that you can do, things that you can say that can break the generational cycle of pain and create a generational cycle of love. We are all children, young and old. We all have something to learn from each other. No one is greater than the other, no matter what title we have. It's some worldly title. No one is greater than the other, and no experience defines you. Too many children are out here falling into many potholes related to this cycle of pain. But it is the mother's guidance, the father's guidance, the mother's humility, the ability, the desire to learn, the openness that can help our children walk a better path. They don't have to go into teenage pregnancy or drinking alcohol or fights or bullying. Many of those things we can nip in the bud at home, where teaching really occurs. I'll talk to you guys soon. Take care of yourself. As always, make this lifetime great.